Access to this trailhead is detailed in the text itself. We saw two tarantulas on this easy trail and a ground squirrel, but no snakes. Now, this basalt, this black rock here is basalt from volcanoes. Here's our friendly snake, and it's very hard. It's level 6 on the hardness scale, where diamond is 10 and talc is 1. Now, as we enter the canyon here, whoops, there we go. Human-made $sign. There's a petroglyph there, of course. And as we enter the canyon here, this is where all the water rushed in from the area south, creating a very smooth. Now, this is an interesting petroglyph. It looks like it's just a snake there, nothing else. And this one appears to be a cornstalk on the right-hand side, signifying rain. Now, this is the smooth portal here. All the petroglyphs are to the upper left of this drop down. Notice how smooth that basalt rock is from, what, millions of years of wearing down this canyon. Now, what we're going to do here is walk up this canyon because the petroglyphs are on the top and all the way to the right. Well, not all the way, a few hundred yards, we'll see later. It's very strenuous walking up this trail. So if you're not in good condition, bring binoculars. There's our first petroglyph on the right-hand side. These are fundamentally undefined. I don't understand why they're so high, because normally they should be low where people can see them, but there they are. Okay, now we're continuing. There's the canyon. Now we're continuing further up to more petroglyphs. And they're in the flat rock. And notice the height we're at. See the 3 white stripes way to the right? Well, there they go. That's the end of the main petroglyphs. Now you have to climb up these rocks. Very strenuous, and they're not all secure. So use hand grips, toe grips, suction cups, whatever's necessary so you don't fall. This is the most interesting and busy. It almost looks like a blackboard for Euclidean geometry classes, which was created 300 BC, by the way. And much as we've looked at this, we just see lines. Nothing definitive in the pattern here at all. Now, it's shaky because we're trying to balance on some rocks here, which aren't very stable by themselves, and trying not to fall over the cliff. Now, we're going to ponder here for a little longer. Now, notice that sort of in the center, it's very, very dense concentration of lines, where on the right you have squares and rectangles. Don't know what to say there. Let's move on. Now this one's easier. Now notice the round circles on the right-hand side. These are not unique. You almost see them on every petroglyph panel ever. Appears to be a bird and another complex set of rectangles. There you can see the white vertical lines in the distance. Now it's really hard walking through this stuff so you don't fall over the canyon below. So you need very good shoes. Long fingernails. This is probably the most interesting petroglyph here. It almost defies explanation. Notice there's one on the right as well. It's got Google eyes, that's strange. Way at the top are some more guys. And if you have binoculars, they really help, at least 4 power. Okay, moving along here. And again, here I'm trying to figure out which way to go without falling over the edge. Basic scrapings. Now those lines could represent either an octopus or rain. On the right-hand side, you see the same lines. Now what's more interesting is, let's continue a little further past this crude petroglyph. Way up there, further up, more vertical lines. And further up. There it is, way at the top. On the left-hand side, exceedingly complex. We could not find a good way of going up there without mountain climbing. Now, you could enter from the top, but just study this petroglyph on the left-hand side. One appears to be a human, but then on the right-hand side, we have our bubbles again. And of course, this flat rock has more of them. If you can find out from the top, that'd be good. Okay, now this is interesting. This is shale. Notice how flat rimmed there are and how vertical this one is. Earlier we saw the shale under petroglyphs. How this happened, a tremendous amount of geological pressure forced this area up. And here we have our rabbit that signifies the end of the petroglyphs as we found them. Please read the information at the introduction to this YouTube. Incidentally, a newspaper named Chuckawalla recorded the history of this area. That printing press is reserved in Death Valley Outdoor Museum. That stack of rusted cans is the location of Greenwater Mining District. There are many, many such rusted tin cans and broken glass. Rock building foundations are located in the hills nearby for the towns and former mines. The last wood frame building was destroyed September 2021 when tourists illegally burned the roof wood for a fire. And at the top of that can is a fencing mask, which is rather interesting. That road to the right goes to Greenwater Springs. This road is the main road we came into from Furnace Creek Wash Road at mile 5.9. Okay, now here are a series of photos, thanks to the Park Service. On the lower left-hand side, you can see where all the mines are and the numbers. This all began in February 1905 when Fred Birney and Phil Creaser were prospecting the east side of the Black Mountain Range. They discovered promising nuggets of copper laying on the surface. Repeat, on the surface. They were assayed at considerable value, very rich ore. Somehow, this discovery became a 7-mile long vein of copper. Well, that of course drew in mining companies, followed by construction of mines and towns. That created a demand for construction supplies that were shipped via rail to Rhyolite or Shoshone. Shoshone is about 45 miles from here, or make it 40. Endless freight wagons, up to 100 per day, pulled by horses, arrived here. Stagecoaches and masses of people, up to 2,000 eventually settled here. 3 towns were created to serve the mines: Greenwater, Furnace, and Kunse. Typically, newly created mining companies were born and, of course, stock sold at rapidly escalating prices, even though not a single ounce of ore was produced. For example, Greenwater Valley Copper Mines and Smelt Company issued 5 million shares at $5 a share, creating a company value of $25 million in 1906 dollars. Ridiculous. Again, not a single ounce of profitable ore was or is being mined. Okay, so now February 1907. Of the original 37 mining companies, no mining company produced any marketable ore. By May, none of the existing 26 mining companies produced any ore. By September, only 12 companies remained. In August, the post office gave up and left. Just not enough business, and they moved to Death Valley Junction. As 1908 arrived, only 2 companies remained. In 1909, some ore was discovered at 1,100 feet deep, but it was of no commercial value, so that was given up. So the boom was over. The circus ended. Money lost, no ore produced. All the buildings were torn down, lumber moved. Okay, the next photograph that will be coming up is a 1906 photograph that shows the former post office, and many men there, of course. And there you will see, let's wait till it comes up, a Ford Model T car. This photo, again, was in 1906. Problem: the first Model T car was delivered on 1 October 1908. So this is obviously not a 1906 picture. Well, that's the end of this introduction to Greenwater Valley. Fraud, swindle.